Let's begin. First things first, whether you're lying down or seated up, I want to make sure that you can take a good breath in. So just take a breath in. Notice what that breath, that inhale breath feels like to you. And if it feels constrained or constricted, just adjust your posture to help you breathe a little easier. Since breath is a huge part of what we do here, it's good to be able to breathe well in and out. And I would let your hands find a comfortable place for them to relax and rest. That can be in your lap, that can be down by your side, just anywhere they're not going to be too distracting from the work that you're doing here today. And let your vision look out softly in front of you. Find a point out in front of you just to let the vision lock there for just a breath or two. And let the vision expand to include your peripheral, the edges of the vision, the entire image in front of you. And then allow the eyes to softly close. In this way, we kind of flip the switch to the mind once the eyes close to kind of allow yourself the opportunity to focus more internally with the practice. The elements that make up your meditation experience will still remain: sounds and the visual input, lights and darks, and various images, the thought patterns that are moving through the mind, the way the body feels, all of that is still here. But you've carved out time to give time and attention today to paying, to noticing the elements of it, to looking at them up close and personal, and to learning about how they move and how they change. So as you sit here noticing what you notice, I'd like to open up practice tonight with a story that'll help us frame our topic for practice. So this story is about a Zen teacher. His name is Ed Brown, and he's a cook. And while he was perfecting his biscuit recipe, he found that he was having struggles getting the taste just right. And he was going back and forth with various revisions, changes to the ingredients, trying to create a taste that was familiar to him from his childhood. And as he reflected on what it was that he was trying to accomplish, he realized that um, the standard he was trying to match was uh, Pillsbury biscuits. He was trying to match the standards of a canned biscuit from his childhood. And that awareness, that knowledge of knowing that made him realize the importance of what it is we're comparing things to. And when he stopped comparing his current recipe to the memory from his childhood, he started to realize just how good his current recipe was and how much value there was to that. But he couldn't see that before because he was too busy comparing it to something else. And we use comparison in this way. We use it in our practice almost as a measure of where we are in the practice. So as we move through practice today, we're going to play with some opposites and we're going to be mindful of what we're comparing each moment to and seeing if we can drop that comparison and recognize the moment for what it actually is. Just the moment unfolding and changing in front of you. Begin to let your attention feel and notice the breath flowing in and out of your body. Letting yourself anchor to that breath. Anchor to the inhale. Feel it as it comes into the lungs and opens up the body. And then as you exhale, feel everything kind of contract and come back into yourself. Unconsciously, you're doing this all day long. And now let the light of your attention notice the way the breath feels. This can begin to set the tone for practice as you notice how the mind may be moving about. How steady is it? Or is it kind of anxious and all over the place? Is it hard to hold your attention here, focused on the breath? Observing if any of that's true for you as you watch and monitor the breath coming in and coming out. We work with distractions by returning our attention back to our original focus. So, should you become distracted or your mind wander along the way, just return it back to following the breath. And we do that return very gently, very kindly, very compassionately. Keeping the attention open to that idea as compared to what? And we'll begin to move the attention a bit wider and into the body as we kind of scan the body from head to toe, incorporating the sensations of breathing along the way. So bring your attention to the crown of your head and notice any sensations that might be present there. When scanning the body for sensations, we invite the opportunity to also notice places where we don't feel a lot of sensation or parts are not as alive. And we can compare and contrast that as we scan through the body. Moving down from the crown of the head, begin to notice the sensations of the eyes. Feel the weight of them in your eye sockets and notice the eyelids pressing against your actual eyeballs in your sockets. Noticing sensations in the jaw, in the mouth, in the inner and outer parts of the ear. And can you kind of imagine for a moment the space inside the head and in the neck as the breath moves in through the nose, the way the air feels up the lungs? Notice the space internally of the face and the neck. Contrasting the internal space with the sensations that you feel externally. Allowing your attention to move further down the body into the torso, into the shoulders. Here you feel the breath moving you with each inhale and each exhale. You might feel the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. If you're lying down, you feel the compression of your shoulders against the mat. If you're sitting upright, you may feel that same engagement of the shoulder blades as you hold your posture in space. Allowing attention to move down both of the arms, from the upper part of the arms down through the elbows into the forearms, the wrist, and the hands, ending in the fingertips. Feeling the touch of air on your skin or the texture of the blanket against your skin. Feeling the weight of your arms resting in space. And can you imagine the space internally of the torso and the arms? Can you imagine the space between the arms and torso and the head? Imagining with each breath you're filling up the internal space of the head, the arms, and the torso. Notice the ways in which it's easy for a comparison to slip in. Oftentimes, there's spaces and places in the body where we gravitate towards enjoying a sensation, or maybe we kind of push away or move away from an uncomfortable one. Notice where that may be true for you, and allow whichever sensation is arising in this moment just to arise without the label of comparison. In this way, you allow sensations to come and go, to shift and change. You can begin to see the texture and the variety of them, from small to big, zooming in and zooming out, allowing your attention to move down into the pelvis. Notice any sensations you feel in your glutes, in the upper parts of the legs, down into the knees, the lower part of your legs, all the way down to your feet and toes. The lower half of your body that grounds you and keeps you connected to the earth, that holds you upright. If you're lying down, can you feel the weight in the lower half of your body supported by the surface you're lying on? If you're seated, notice the way your legs set the foundation for your torso to rest upon. Noticing the pulsing aliveness moving through the legs. Taking note of any temperatures or textures that are present. In this moment, recognizing the body that's in this moment, not the one you want, not the one you used to have, but the one that's with you right now. And can you imagine the space in the pelvis and in the legs? Feeling the body from the inside out. Can you imagine each breath filling up all of the spaces from the head to toe with each inhale and exhale? Contrasting the space inside the body with the space in front of the body. And can you imagine your body in the space of the room that you're in right now? And as you sit at In the center of this, notice the breath moving through this space, the changing sensations of your body moving through this space. The thought and the mind moving through the space. And you, the observer of it all. Letting each moment be reflective of just that moment. And holding our attention in the moment and minimizing the opportunities for comparison, we start to see ourselves differently. We can welcome in grace and understanding for what's happening right now. Because we know soon enough a new moment will occur. Another breath will come in. A new sensation will shift. A thought will drift away, and a new one will replace it. And we will still be consistent and present and okay in that new moment that unfolds. And can you begin to imagine with the next inhale that your breath is moving up the front of your body? From the base of your spine, the breath moves up the front of the body on the inhale, all the way to the crown of the head. And then can you imagine on the exhale that the breath moves down the back of the body and goes back down to the base of the spine? Breathing up the front of the body and breathing down the back of the body. Blending focus, imagination, and breath all into one steady rhythm. keeping the attention open enough to notice the way the body is receiving the moving of breath, to notice the way it feels, to notice the quality of your thinking mind as a result of it. It's in this way of being curious that we remain constant students of the practice of learning ourselves by making space and sitting in meditation. Begin to gently let a smile come across the lips and acknowledge the fact that you showed up for yourself today, that you gave yourself time to sit and be present with yourself, to maybe slow down a little bit from a chaotic day, that you made this moment happen for yourself. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open, start to receive all the lights and colors and shadows and all the things as we begin to close out practice tonight. Taking note as you come back to practice of what stood out to you from your practice, and is it anything useful that you'll take with you?